Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at Corsair's SP120 RGB Pro fans. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we'll be taking a look at Corsair's SP120 RGB Pro fans. This set here was kindly sent to us by Ugly Bob. Thank you very much, Ugly Bob. And this one here is an individual fan which I purchased myself in order to complete the kit. Now, before we get into actually the unboxing and taking a look at the fans, see what they're like, let's talk about some of the reasons why we're actually doing this. Well, one of the reasons is because I'm trying to kind of dip my toes into the Corsair ecosystem, and also, for those of you that are regulars to the channel will know that I've recently picked up a Corsair K70 keyboard, RGB Mark II, and yeah, I'm trying to get the ecosystem together. Now there's one thing which really I am hesitant about, and that is Corsair's ICUE software. Now I can imagine already in the comment section there's people getting ready and their fingers are getting ready to type away and say, no, it's fantastic, it's great. Great, if you love it, that's absolutely fine. But me personally, I like to have a variety of different components. Now on my motherboard I've got the Asus X570 Tough Gaming motherboard, and obviously I want to use this as well. I've got the keyboard and there's various other RGB components. So I don't really want to have Armory Crate, Aurora Sync, ICUE and all those things together. So recently actually I found a piece of software which actually looks like it's going to do the trick for us, which we'll take a look at later. But essentially what it does, it combines all of your RGB ecosystems into one cohesive application so you can get the most out of it all. Now the app itself isn't perfect. There's some items which aren't supported, in which case you can actually request that there's additional support given and possibly it may be added. So obviously your mileage may vary, but for me at the moment it looks like it ticks most of the boxes. And best of all, it means I don't have to have ICUE or Armory Crate installed. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get onto the fans themselves. So we've got the 120 Pro single fan edition. These retail for around about £14 on amazon.co.uk. All links for this stuff will be in the video description so you can check out yourself. And the 3-pack, the SP120 RGB Pro 3-pack, plus it comes with the lighting node core. This retails normally around about the sort of £45 mark. So if you kind of think if you need 3 of these anyway, then you're paying roughly £45 and you get the node as well, which you really do need. These do need elements of the Corsair ecosystem to actually work. You can't just plug them into any motherboard. They do require that USB 2.0 connection to actually plumb into the system. So if you're looking for just regular RGB fans, then these potentially aren't the ones for you. Do make sure you've got that spare USB 2.0 port on your motherboard. Anyway, with that said, let's take a look and see what we actually get in the boxes. So first of all, we'll do the single fan version, then we'll take a look at the other one. It's going to be obviously pretty much identical other than the accessories for the lighting node. So first of all, packaging wise, yeah, these do look great. I really do like the Corsair packaging. It's very distinctive indeed. And I think price wise at the moment, £13 or £14 for a single RGB fan isn't actually too much. There are considerably more expensive fans on the market. You only have to look at the likes of Noctua, etc. and you will see similar pricing. Now, even if you go towards the sort of more kind of off-brand models, you will find similar prices. So actually, I think the price for an individual fan is pretty decent. Again, let us know what you think about that in the comments below. So specifications-wise, as you can see, so SP120 RGB Pro. So this is the first of their kind of more static pressure optimized fans. These are suitable for regular case fans, putting on radiators, even on a CPU cooler if you wanted to. The choice is entirely down to you. Performance we'll look at a little bit later on the back of the box, but it does support obviously ICUE software because, well, it's Corsair, and this is the one fan model. Looking around onto the back of the box, we've got some more of the specifications, so I'll give you a close-up of that now. But essentially what we've got there is the dimensions, so it's 120mm by 25mm, and maximum airflow is up to 52 CFM, and the maximum speed is 1400 RPM, and the max sound level is 26 dBA, which pretty much all those specs tie into exactly what I want for my build. I don't want it to be overly noisy, I don't want it to be overly fast spinning, I do prefer a slightly slower spinning fan. It keeps noise in check and is not too distracting. Taking a look into the packaging itself. So as you can see, we get the fan, you get some mounting screws, which is pretty obvious. Get some very elaborate packaging there for the actual wires to be held in. Got the fan itself, and there's the model number on the back, so you can check all that sort of stuff out. These are the cheaper range of Corsair fans, to be completely honest with you. They do miss out on some features. One of them is the kind of rubberized grommets on the side there, so padding to prevent noise coming through. But again, these are only spinning up to 1400 RPM, so we shouldn't be too bad in that respect. In the rest of the packaging, you get all kinds of useful information. So you get the WE directive information. You also get a QC logo. There's some other CE stuff. And that is pretty much it. So taking a closer look at the fan, as you can see, quite nice blades on there, all translucent. The outside frame is all done in that kind of ABS plastic and actually feels to be pretty rigid, so that's a good sign. There's no real flex to it, which is often a sign of a cheaper fan. Got the Corsair logo in the middle, which appears to be pretty much dead center, so that's always a good thing. Cabling wise on the side, we've got two cables which come off, one of which is your VDC, which is your PWM style connection, so this goes to a motherboard for fan control, and the other one is actually very reminiscent of the old-fashioned CD line-in connectors, which you used to get on CD-ROM drives, if you're old enough to remember those. And this is for the RGB, which plugs into the Corsair lighting node or Commander Pros, all those kinds of things. Looking at the back, not a great deal there, but you do have these 4 crosses there to protect the blades and also strengthen the unit itself, and the cables have been packed away quite nicely in there, so you shouldn't find any unsightly bulges. So that's pretty much it for the fan. Nothing really to speak of, nothing out of the ordinary, just a decent quality fan. Moving over to the 3-pack, so this is where things get a little bit more complicated and potentially a little bit more interesting. So we do get the 3 fans which are included, which again are essentially identical to what you've already seen, so we won't go through that in the unboxing. But this is the section which is going to cause some of you either fear, dread, or slight anticipation. So first of all, we get the lighting node core. So this is supporting up to 6 RGB devices using that proprietary Corsair connection. And actually we should talk about the Corsair connection for the RGB. A lot of people get a little bit scared of it. Essentially, the 4-pin kind of version they've got on there is the same as your normal 3-pin RGBs, just slightly different because you have got a position pin. So this position pin works with the USB and the software to tell the system which position in the case the fan is. So if you've got a particular lighting effect which moves from fan to fan, which is very popular with Corsair ecosystem, the position cable essentially tells it where it is in the setup, so you can move the position in where you want to. You can actually get an adapter for these types of fans and for pretty much most of the Corsair fans, which will convert it back to the regular 3-pin addressable RGB. So if you do want to plug it into a motherboard directly or some sort of fan head or whatever, then you can do that. They are quite expensive, and potentially if you wanted to, you could actually just take the pins out yourself and repin it to your particular needs. So going back to the controller, so we've got 6 ports in there, as we've said before. It is powered by a single SATA connection, and the other end is a USB 2.0 header. So this plugs into your motherboard and then it can talk to the software. Like I said earlier in the video, we won't be using ICUE on this, we'll be using a different piece of software altogether, which we'll take a look at later. This hopefully should reduce some of the overhead on the system in terms of different RGB softwares that we're using and keep things to a minimum. Also included, there is a 3M sticky pad for sticking the controller somewhere in the back of your case. You also get 3 sets of screws for the fans, obviously, and you get a instruction manual which, for better or for worse, basically says plug it in and install ICUE software. Other than that, this is pretty useless. There's also tons of other waste paper in here, which is things like, again, the CE thing, WE information, safety information, yeah, just loads of crap that you don't really need. So Corsair, please, make it digital. Just have a QR code on the box, get rid of all this waste packaging. It really is unnecessary. So now we've got all our equipment, we've got our 4 fans, we've got our lighting controller, so all we need now is a donor PC to actually swap everything out from. So let's go on to that. Okay, so here is the donor system. So this is the Neutron Labs PC case, the Fusion RGB, and as you can see, actually the RGB fans on this are particularly nice. I really do like them, and quite a few people who've seen this case have said, yeah, those RGB fans look really nice. There's a really nice colour spread on them. So actually, in terms of upgrading our RGB in that respect, we're not really changing a great deal. In fact, possibly we might even be taking a step backward. But where it does actually come into its own, these particular fans actually connect their own RGB hub, which if I spin this around, you can just about see, hopefully. I do apologise about the wiring. I've deliberately not paid much attention to this because I kind of knew they were going to come out at some point, just getting around to doing it. So they wire up to a RGB controller, which essentially, if you think about it, actually isn't that dissimilar from what the lighting node core is. So we've got 6 ports on there. We've also, sorry, tell a lie, we've actually got 4 ports on here, plus 2 additional ones which are kind of for RGB headers. So it's kind of a 6-port, but you've also got this 4-port hub as well for the fans. Now this is where it falls over because there isn't actually a pass-through for the fans. So the fans are always spinning at a static kind of 1000 RPM, which for some people is absolutely fine. For me, Actually, it does help for benchmarking and things like that, because I know the fans are always going to be a constant rate, so any variables will be caused by the rest of the system. But it's time really for that to change. I would like to be able to get the fans to slow down a little bit when I'm maybe watching movies, that kind of thing, or ramp up when I'm playing some games. So yeah, I wanted a little bit more control. So what we're going to be doing is taking out the 3 fans from the front here. I've already taken out the rear fan and replaced it with the Noctua 120mm. So that's going to be coming out as well, because, well, it's a Chromax, but there's no RGB, so it's got to go. But yeah, I'm fed up with the controller. So this is all coming out, fans are coming out, and hopefully it will look a little bit nicer. Overall, the system actually doesn't look too bad, and the RGB, as long as it's in Unicorn Puke mode, actually isn't too bad. You can just about make out the V-Color RAM glowing behind the cooler there. It is a little bit on the dark side, unfortunately, but yeah, quite a stealthy look. But anyway, we're going to take out the fans, put in the new ones, and then get everything connected up. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we've got the fans installed and the node installed, so yeah, not a bad experience, to be honest with you. And looking inside is pretty neat. The USB cables, etc. at the bottom, so yeah, that's absolutely all fine. We have to rewire our cooler for the M.2 drive. That's gone directly to the motherboard's header now. It was on like a pass-through, so that's all done and dusted. Got the fans installed, and I must say the screws to hold in the fans are particularly good. I started using the existing ones, which were with the previous fans, but Corsair, yes, you know how to do fan screws. Congratulations, well done. It works very, very well. Moving on to the back, it's not entirely pretty, but again, most of that's probably down to these tags for the RGB hub. Otherwise, it actually doesn't look too bad at all. There's a lot of wire in there, but yeah, it's not too bad. Managed to get it all around there. The cables on each one of the fans are 24 inches long, so that is what, 600mm. So plenty of cable there. So if you've got a slightly larger case, you should be able to wire the cables in your particular needs, like wherever you need them to go. So yeah, long enough. That goes for the RGB and also the 3-pin PWM style connection for the fans, although it is VDC. Got the hub installed there, so make sure when you do install it, because of the way that the lighting works and it goes on that positional thing, so make sure number 1 is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc, etc. So number 1 for us is on the rear one, number 2, that one there, 3 and 4. So the lighting kind of goes forward and down, and then hopefully should go round and round. I don't think it's going to do it in the actual software we're going to use, but we'll see what that's like. So I'm going to fire this up now and actually see what it does straight off the bat, just with it powered up. Literally no software installed at all, just whatever's on the system already. And straight away, yeah, it looks pretty decent. You can see the flow effect going on there. So even if you're actually just using this and you're not using maybe Windows, but you just want something which is RGB and looks kind of nice, I think this works well. And actually, the rainbow puke going on, yeah, it's pretty decent. I like that. I like it a lot. The fans themselves, as their default values, actually very quiet. In fact, the noisiest thing I can hear at the moment is the D15, which is spinning away, and possibly the graphics card, because that's not settled down yet. But yeah, they look really nice. The RGB spread is very nice. It's really difficult to get across on camera what RGB is actually like in real life, but the glow effect on these fans is actually really good. The sensor section, you can't really see any of the specific RGBs unless you look extremely close towards the back, but from the front on, yeah, they are diffused exceptionally well. So that's installed, happy days. So I'm gonna go over to the PC now, connect everything back up, and I'll do some screen capture of the actual software we're gonna be using, and you can see what you think of it. Okay, so here is the software. So this is Signal RGB. It's a free bit of software actually, really easy to get hold of. I'll put links in the video description. There is a paid version. They haven't paid me to use this or say anything about it. It's just something which I found out surprisingly from Kyle over on the BitWit channel. He actually had it on one of his PCs, or he was demonstrating it, and it looks like a pretty decent bit of software. So anyway, this is the first screen. So this is your home screen, shows you what your current effect is up in this top corner. You can probably see from the other camera, which I'm trying to film both at the same time so you can see what it looks like. But first of all, look at the fans. Don't the fans look great, and doing all that crazy synchronization stuff? I think they look absolutely brilliant. So in the app, we've got home, got the free section. So this is all the free lighting effects you can use. So there's various things: space, fire, audio spectrum, etc, etc. The USA flag actually is a very nice one. I've installed this one already, and actually if I click on apply there, you can see it changes the PC to the USA flag. Also, it does the keyboard and mouse as well, which I've also done some cutaways of, so you can see what that looks like. But yeah, basically it all ties it all together, but we're concentrating more on the fans today. Also, you've got things like game integration. So if you've got a favorite game, you can get it so that the colors from the screen will be replicated in your RGB, etc. And you updated, installed. You can customize each one as well. So depending on which one you've got. So let's go back to home. Actually, let's go back to installed. We'll go to Spiral Rainbow, our traditional unicorn puke. So in there you can actually customize the color, the speed, etc, etc. So if you want to induce some sort of seizure, you can do, positions, etc. But one thing I like is this big. So my rig, you've got devices. So you've got your RAM, so Aura compatible RAM, got 4 sticks of RAM installed, so each one is shown there. Got the motherboard itself, the Aura LED controller. Then also we've got our Corsair lighting node core, and then we've got our Corsair M55 mouse. Also got our Corsair Case 70 RGB Mark II keyboard, and then we've got our individual fans. So that's the SP100, or sorry, SP120 even, and it tells you which port it's on, as it does in the kind of IQ software. And then you've also got a custom strip, which is attached to one of the Aurora LED controllers. So obviously your mileage may vary on what devices actually work with your particular setup. I've been pretty lucky, this all works pretty well. If it doesn't work, you can actually go to their site and request that new devices are added. So potentially that is something that you could look at. But what I really like is the layouts. So you've got your layout here. So this is obviously the color wheel, which is our chosen RGB format. So depending where you move your devices on here is where the color appears. So say for instance we want a slower effect on the actual fans themselves. We can move them and distance them apart, and you should see in real time that now there is a very slight change there. Also, if you want to have them virtually identical, you can kind of overlap them, so now you'll see they're a lot closer together, but you get the general idea. So depending on what you want, you can move it and have something completely different, which hopefully is being demonstrated quite well actually on the screen there. So yeah, there are tons of customization you can do there. And again, that's the mouse. So if your mouse is on the right hand side, you can put it to there. If your mouse is on the left hand side, you can put it there. And you can change the size of your keyboard, etc. So that's the keyboard there in the center. So I can offset that, put my mouse next to it, have my strips there, and again move all of your lighting and things around. Yeah, it's really good. Nice little interface, works very well. I like it a lot. You can go and change profiles, etc. Change types of installed lighting. Again, you've got the kind of the matrixy type theme, which doesn't work as well on the actual PC itself. You can see the way that it's actually individually addressing those RGBs rather than just doing all 4 fans being the same. So yeah, I quite like it. It's a bit of a change. You've got some flashing lights there, so you can pretend you're a police car. And if you go into customize, layouts, you can change what is actually in where it picks the lights up from. So yeah, all kinds of changes and stuff you can do. Actually, I'll get rid of that one because that is a little bit horrendous. Valentine's Day, go to the Valentine's one. So you've got hearts going down. And actually on the keyboard it looks really cool. Again, you can move all your fans around, and if you want to, you can centralize stuff. So highlight something, stick it in the center, and the last one there. So now all the fans should be doing pretty much the same thing. Yeah, looks pretty decent. So yeah, I'm quite impressed. The fans actually sound really good. There's very, very little noise coming from them, even at the higher RPMs. I can't really fault it, and using Signal RGB to actually try and get the most out of it does seem to do a very good job. Let's try that. Electric colors. If you want to download anything that you like the look of, just click on that and then it will add it, and you can go ahead and customize it. Oh god, that is pretty awful. Yes, that is extremely awful. So yeah, rainbow, there we go. Now we're talking. That's moderately better. So again, if you want to, you can choose your layout, move stuff around so it only picks up certain colors. You can create your own custom pictures and profiles, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a little bit different. I kind of like the way that it works. Anyway, so yeah, Signal RGB, links will be in the video description if you want to check it out for yourselves. So there you go. There has been an introduction to the Corsair SP120 RGB Pros. I've got to be honest with you, I'm very pleased with them, and the fact that we've got that Signal RGB software working with it is the icing on the cake. And actually, it does make me look at the PC behind me and the rather boring RGB, or well, mostly RGB at the moment because we've got pink going on there. But yeah, it is a little bit boring. And once you look at that and then you look at the other one, there's a whole world of difference between them. So yeah, it looks like we might be seeing a little bit more Corsair fans and RGB controllers in the future. So let me know if you've enjoyed this content. If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you've got any comments, you know where to stick them in the section below. But in the meantime, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you, yes, you, in the very next video. Thanks for watching.